Hello everyone. Today our lesson is about the endocrine system. Firstly, we will start with the objectives for this lesson. Our objectives for this lesson are: firstly, to understand the need of a chemical system of coordination. We should be able to explain the importance of chemical system for coordination of or how the chemical system it's important in the process of coordinating the body activities. Secondly, to define the terms of hormone and endocrine organ. When we will talk about endocrine system, we will see this system, it consists of organs, and these organs, it release hormones. So we should be able to give a definition about hormone and also endocrine organ. Thirdly, to give examples of hormones in the human body. We will take some examples of hormones that are released by some glands in our body and also with their function. Now, a second control system. Here we said a second control system. Why? What do you think? Why we say here a second control system? What about the first control system? If you remember, in the previous lessons, we talked about a nervous system. We said nervous system, it's a control system. It's a system that it controls the movements in our bodies. Now, the responses controlled by the nervous system. Okay, nervous system, the first control system. What do you think? How were the responses that are controlled by a nervous system? The responses controlled by a nervous system happen quickly. If you remember the table that shows the differences or the comparison between nervous system and endocrine system. In nervous system, the responses, it happen quickly, but there are some responses that go on over a long period of time. Example, growth and development. Growth and development, these two processes, it takes a long time. It takes couple of years. Animals have a second coordination system. We call it the endocrine system, which carries out this sort of control, which is controlling the growth and development. Ductless glands. The endocrine system is a series of organs called glands which secretes chemicals called hormones. So, the endocrine system, it consists of organs. These organs, we call them glands. The function of these glands are the function of these glands is to secrete or to release chemicals. These chemicals, we call them hormones. So, a definition for hormone, we say it's a kind of chemicals that are secreted by glands. The endocrine glands are ductless glands. What's that means? It doesn't have a duct, or in another meaning, we will say they release the hormones directly into the bloodstream. Again, endocrine glands are ductless. What's that mean? It means when it makes the hormones, these hormones will be released directly into the bloodstream. It's not like, for example, the digestive system glands. Some digestive system glands, when they release the enzymes, these enzymes will be sent through a tubes, then into another body parts. For example, if you remember, when we say, for example, gallbladder, this will make the enzymes, and these enzymes will be sent to the uh, to the small intestine, and then the process of digestion will happen. But in endocrine, it's opposite. In endocrine, the hormones or the chemicals will be directly released to bloodstream, and then these chemicals will be moved or will be transported into a target cell or target organ. Okay, the hormones affected only their target organs, as outlined in the diagram below. Here, this diagram, it shows how the hormones will be produced, and also how it will be transported into the target cell. Firstly, a stimulus affects endocrine gland so that it releases hormone. Okay, firstly, we will have a stimulus. This stimulus will affect the endocrine gland. Then the endocrine, it will release the hormone. Okay, this is the endocrine gland. Now it makes the hormone. Because they are ductless, the endocrine glands are ductless, so it will release the hormones directly into the bloodstream. This is bloodstream or blood vessel. Now, the green one, it represents the hormone. Now, hormones are distributed through the body in the bloodstream. So now these hormones, after releasing it into the bloodstream, it will be sent or distributed to the body through what? Through bloodstream. Then, receptors on cell membranes. As we know, each cell, it has a cell membrane. This cell membrane, it allows the substances to go in and out. But how? Through a specific receptors. Receptors on the cell membrane of the target organ recognize the circulating hormone molecules. Okay? Then the hormone will attach to the receptor and will go inside the cell. Then target organs brings about an appropriate response to deal with the original stimulus. Again, this process, it's it. Firstly, there will be a stimulus that affects the gland, or it's like a stimulus that it tells the gland to release the hormone. Now, hormone will be released to the bloodstream. Bloodstream will be received by a receptors on cell membrane of the target cell. Then this hormone, it goes to the cell, and then it will the target cell brings about appropriate response. Here we call it the mechanism of hormone action. You need to know how to draw it and also explain it. Hormones in humans. Here in the objectives, we said you should be able to give some examples of hormones in the human body. So, hormones in the human, here are some examples of hormones in human body. For example, adrenal gland. Adrenal glands, it will release a hormone, we call it adrenaline. Adrenaline, the function of it is what? It control of preparing the body for action. For example, an example of adrenaline, or how we will know how we can explain what's adrenaline. Adrenaline, it's sometimes if you want to take an action, or another example, let's say boys. if you are riding, if you are in a car and you are driving the car, then you need, or when you are drifting, okay, when you drift, so what will happen, then you will feel your heartbeats are increasing. So why, what happened? This is because of your body, it release adrenaline hormone. This adrenaline hormone, it's what causes your heartbeats to increase. Okay, this is one example. Another example, uh, pancreas. Pancreas also, it's an organ that belongs to endocrine system. Pancreas will release two types of hormones. We call them insulin and glucagon, as we mentioned, or as we explained in the previous lessons when we talked about homeostasis. Okay, insulin and glucagon control of blood sugar concentration. Then another organs, they are sex organs. We have ovaries in female and testes in male. Now, what are the hormones that will be released from each organ? We have these hormones, estrogen and progesterone. Okay, estrogen and progesterone, these two hormones, the function of them, it's what? It control puberty in females, including development of breasts and hips. Also control the menstrual cycle and ovulation. As you know, during teenager stage, boys, girls, they go through different changes. Okay, the body goes through different changes. These changes will be controlled by what? By these hormones. Okay, then in male, there is a hormone, we call it testosterone. Testosterone, this hormone, it controls puberty in male, including deepening voice, stronger muscles, and growth of body hair. Okay, also controls development and release of sperm. Okay, so here what do we have again? uh, Gland, okay, or organs. We have the organs that belong to endocrine system and some examples of hormones and with their function in our body. Hormones control puberty in humans. As we just explained here, this ovaries, the hormones, uh, estrogen and progesterone, and testosterone. We say these two or three examples of hormones. These hormones, their function is to what? It control the puberty of human. Okay, as we just say, the estrogen and testosterone, they affect in the testosterone, we said it will affect or develop and release of sperm, and also here estrogen, it controls puberty in female, including development of breasts and hips. Hormone production is under feedback control. What do you mean by this? The production and secretion of hormones is accurately controlled by feedback. What's that mean? It means as the level of hormone in the blood raises, it switches off or inhibits its own production so that the level never gets too high. What's that mean? The hormone will be released and into the bloodstream. When it will reach a specific level, now the gland will stop producing it depending on a feedback from the body. But when the level of hormone will fall, then what will happen? It will switch on, or it will stimulate the organ to produce and release it again. So feedback control is very important in biology. Okay, for example, in homeostasis, or to keep homeostasis. Now, the mechanism of it we will explain here. Okay. One more thing about hormones. It's hormones and food. Hormones and food. Growth hormones are widely used to increase meat production in domestic animals. These days, what do? They use hormones, especially growth hormones, to increase the size, to increase the meat of domestic animals. And also another example is like humans. They start using it, especially for example bodybuilders. As you can see, the size of the body, the size of the body of bodybuilders, if you would compare it with a normal person, there is a big difference. The reason behind this, it's what? It's taking these hormones. Okay, so taking the growth hormone. This growth hormone, it increases cells to division, so there will be more cells, and also then the mass of the body will increase. Now, this diagram, it's what? It's feedback control regulates hormone level in the blood. Here, this diagram, it shows how the feedback, it controls the level of a specific hormone in a blood. Firstly, ideal level of hormone in the blood. We will start from here. Here the level, it's normal. There isn't any increasing or falling off. So what will happen? Firstly, level increases if endocrine glands secretes too much. Now the glands will start releasing or secreting this hormone. After a while, it will increase. The level of hormone will increase. Increased hormone level acts as a signal detected by cells of the endocrine glands. Less hormone secreted, so the level in the blood falls. Okay, this is negative feedback control. Okay, and the same thing here. If the level of hormone decrease, okay, decreased hormone level acts a signal that this signal will be detected by cells. Okay, and then what will happen? More, if it's less, so in the blood, here what will happen? More hormone will be released. This is a feedback. Okay, increase, this increasing, it's a signal. This signal will be detected by cells. These cells, it will reduce secreting or releasing of the hormone. Now this will give a feedback to the glands. Now again, it's what? Ideal level. And the same thing here. Less the cell, this decreasing in the level of hormone, it works as a signal. This signal will be detected by endocrine cells, and cells will release more until it gets a feedback that it said everything is okay, or the level of hormone in the blood, it's at its ideal level. Adrenaline. Adrenaline, it's one hormone that has been widely studied in is adrenaline. So this substance, or why they studied why they mostly study this hormone, because this substance seems to bridge the gap between nervous and endocrine controls. Okay, as we explained before, the nervous system and endocrine system, they are connected with each other. So this hormone, it's what? It's like a bridge between these two systems. It is definitely a chemical messenger, and it's released directly into the bloodstream. Okay, when it will be released into the bloodstream, its effect, okay, its action are often very rapid indeed, and may last only for a short time. When it will be released to the bloodstream, it affects directly, rapidly, and also its effect will last for a short time. Here we have some effects of adrenaline, okay, when it will be released to the body. For example, skin becomes pale. Skin, now this he's doing an action, this boy or this man, okay. Now some features or some descriptions about the adrenaline. Skin becomes pale. Why it will becomes pale? Because the blood is diverted away. Then deeper, more rapid breathing. Heart beats more rapidly. Blood. What will happen to the blood? The blood is diverted away from digestive system to muscles. Okay, so what will happen? Most of the blood will be blocked from digestive system and will be sent into muscles. Now, adrenal glands. This adrenaline, this hormone will be released from where? From adrenal glands. Where we can find these glands? On the top of the kidneys. Then, glycogen in muscles is converted to glucose and released into the blood. So, these were some changes that will happen to the body by the effect of adrenaline hormone. Hormones and food production. Hormones are important in the beef, poultry, and dairy industries. What is happening? Nowadays, people, they start using specific kind of hormones, or they start giving specific kind of hormones to, for example, cows. Okay, why? In order to do some changes in the body of cows. Let's take an example of hormones, and why they use it, and what are some concerns of consumers, or how these hormones it affect the consumers. For example, RBGH, it's a hormone. They give it for cows. Why they use it? They use it rapid growth of beef cattle, better conversion ratio of feed to into muscles, increased period of milk production. So when they will use this hormone RBGH, when they will give it to cattle, so what will happen? It will makes more beef, okay, and also increase period of milk production. So this is something good for production. But from the other side, from the consumer side, may cause cattle to produce other growth factors which could cause cancer in humans. What does that mean? When they will give these hormones to cattle, this is something good for cattle. It makes more beef, it makes more milk. But at the same time, these factors, okay, or these hormones, it might cause cancer in human. Another example of hormone, synthetic estrogen. Estrogen, we have the normal one and the synthetic one. Okay, the synthetic one, what it does, rapid growth in beef and poultry. But from the other side, from consumer side, early onset of puberty in girls, okay, and also feminization in males, example, breast development. So what will happen if, for example, girls will be adult faster, okay, and also it affect on males. What will happen to males? For example, breast development. This it's what? Because of the hormones that are used, or the hormones that are given for animals. Hormones can be used as drugs in sports. As you know, uh, maybe you hear that during, for example, Olympics, or during any match or any kind of sports, okay, the players, they always they do some test or blood test to test if there is any kind of drugs in their blood. But what are some of these drugs and what it does in the body? For example, anabolic steroids. Okay, example of hormones, the anabolic steroids. Effect on body. What is the effect of using anabolic steroid? It increase growth of muscles, reduce fat content of the body. So here it's what will happen. Most of the bodybuilders, they use these steroids. Okay, but how it will affect on their performance? It will increase strength and power. Okay, when you will have more muscles, of course, what does that mean? You will be stronger and you will have more power. Okay, another example of hormone, it's cortisol. Cortisol, the function of it, it's what? It repair of damaged tissue. So when you will exercise, some of your tissue will be damaged. So how to repair, or what you will do to repair these tissues fast? So you will use cortisone. So it allow rapid recovery after intensive training. Another example of hormone, testosterone. Testosterone stimulates male aggressive behavior. Effects on sporting performance. Aggression can be important in contact sports like rugby. So here it says this player, Ben Johnson, 100-meter sprinter, who was disqualified from the 1988 Summer Olympics and 1987 World Championships after testing positive for banned drugs. These drugs, uh, their using of it, it's limited. It means not everyone can use it, and not you cannot get it during any time. So that was everything for this lesson. Your task is to solve the questions. I hope everything was clear. Again, when you will finish watching this video, please write a comment below the video. If you have any questions, concerns, please don't hesitate to contact me. Thank you and have a good day.